Hey guys, thanks for watching my channel today. My name's Don. My channel is usually devoted to uh, videos about fishing. This morning I got pretty industrious and decided to make a few videos that really weren't about fishing, but could be kind of uh, combined with fishing, so to speak. Uh, Today, I thought I'd capitalize on a couple of things. I made a video earlier on using a cell phone. I made a second one on using a laptop. And I want to finish up the series with one last video. And this one's going to be about old guys and online shopping. So let's take a minute and talk about online shopping. As I said, I'm 77 years old. I grew up when shopping meant you got in the truck, you drove to town, you talked to a real human being, and if they didn't have what you needed, that was the end of it. If most of you, if you can remember back, I mean, we didn't really have Bass Pro Shops and big tackle stores. You'd go to the hardware to buy your fishing tackle. And if you were lucky, they would have a halfway decent selection. Now, I got to tell you, I sit back in my recliner. I'm sitting there in my shorts and socks, and I can order a fishing lure from 3 states away at 11:47 at night, and it shows up on my porch like Santa Claus, delivered, the night before Christmas. That's pretty impressive and a little bit suspicious. So, a lot of people question, is the website legit? Well, the first thing an old guy asks, is the site real? You pull it up and you see Amazon, you see eBay, you see Walmart. Some of the sites I like to go to are Tackle Direct, Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, Tackle Direct. These are big outfits, big companies, been around a long time. But then once you find something on the website that's called Super Mega Outdoor Deals Fishing Discount Warehouse.net, you might want to be a little suspicious of that one, because the price in that is probably half of what it should be. And pretty soon your brain starts looking at that saying, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. So when you see that, just ignore it and go back to the more accredited websites. At 77, I learned something. If it feels too good to be true, it usually ships from somewhere you can't pronounce, and you may or may not ever see it. And you can take time if you want. You can check out the reviews. You can scroll down, 5 stars, best product ever made, 1 star, arrived broken, smelled like cabbage. Who do you believe? Well, half the reviews sound like they were written by a robot. And, you know, I'm pretty satisfied with most of the lures that I purchase. Occasionally I get one that I don't like, but it's not really a problem because I can just return it. And sometimes, I think to a certain extent we might even have an advantage at our age, because sometimes I think we can pick up on some of the nonsense that's out there. We've all bought junk in our lifetime, and I think having the ability to recognize it makes a big difference. So here's where it can get dangerous. You buy one fishing lure, just one. Next thing you know, your screen says recommended for you. And suddenly you're looking at 12 more lures, a new rod, a better reel, a tackle box that you didn't know you needed. That algorithm understands fishermen. It knows our weakness. It's like walking into a tackle shop with no supervision. And now when you order something, it tells you arriving Thursday. and you watch that tracking number like a tournament leaderboard. Shipped, in transit, out for delivery. I have never been more invested in a brown truck turning onto my street than I have been in the last few years. Back in the day, if something didn't arrive, you just shrugged your shoulders and moved on. Now, I refresh the tracking page like it's some kind of live sport. And what if you don't like it? Well, there's always the return process. Here's the part that separates men from the boys. Returning an item used to be simple. You walk back into the store, you put it on the counter, you showed them your receipt, you told them it doesn't work or you don't like it. Now, you got to print a label, you got to tape up a box, you got to scan a code, you got to drop it at a location that may or may not exist in your hometown, and the printer never works when you really need it to. But the good side, and let me be honest, online shopping has done something good for us old guys. It keeps us independent. We don't have to drive as much. If there's a hard to find item, we can usually find it. And replacement parts for something older than our grandson, a couple clicks away. That's freedom. Now here's the real danger. Late night shopping, you're sitting there, it's quiet. Maybe you just watched a video by Roland or Bill Dance, and you see what they're using, and you think, I need a couple of those. Or maybe you're thinking, I deserve that new reel. You don't need it. You already have 47 other ones. But you see it advertised, and you think, I'm going to get it. So at 10:45 p.m., the buy now button is very persuasive. Morning comes, and you look at your email, and you think, what the hell have I done? Did I do that? Did I just spend that much money? Yep, you sure did. So in closing, here's my advice to old guys about online shopping. Stick to reputable sites like Amazon or Walmart or Tackle Warehouse. Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, they're all pretty reliable. Read the reviews, but use common sense. Don't fall for miracle deals. And maybe, just maybe, don't shop after 10 p.m. and a couple of beers. Because at our age, we don't need more stuff. But I will say this, there's something mighty satisfying about sitting in your recliner, clicking a button, and knowing a package with your name on it is headed your way. That's modern day mail order. And I don't care how old you are, that's kind of fun. And if you'll excuse me, I need to go track something that says out for delivery. And I'm pretty sure it's another lure that I don't need. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. And I wish you the very best.